Welcome to the Unhandled Exception Report with Wayne Sloman and Andy Middleton.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is Season 5. I'm still getting used to that. Season 5, Episode 2 of the Unhandled Exception Report. I'm Andy and this is Wayne.
Hello, good. How are you?
Well, not too bad, thank you. I'm getting to that age where I could start reeling off ailments for about 5 minutes, but I won't. I'll just say I'm fine.
Good.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you.
Right, what's on tonight's fun-filled, whatever you want to call it?
I can tell you about my latest purchase from Amazon.
All right.
A couple of operating system I've been trying. This week's YouTube channel. That's this week's Twitter person of interest for me, anyway.
Wow. Okay, well, I can just sit back and let you take over then. Is this purchase? Is this your new Atari?
It is, yes.
Oh, wow. Did you get it?
Yes.
I assume you never got the one from eBay.
No, I just give that up as a bad job, I think.
Oh, no.
But it was only 30 quid. I know 30 quid.
Oh, I'd try getting it back if I were you.
Yeah, I probably will. I was pleased to get it. Unfortunately, I got it out this Sunday to have a look. So I unpacked the box. The power pack is a power pack from a ZX81 with the cable that will fit the back of the Atari.
Yeah, that's probably all right because they'll work okay with a standard DC supply. But yeah,
the TV cable was fine, but then I managed to pull the end of that off.
Okay,
which is easy enough to refix. So I'm not worried about that.
Oh yeah.
The joystick I got was a quick shot.
Right.
Yeah, what you would have got with a Commodore 64 or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't work very well. All in all, I mean, I'm pleased I got it because it's one of the very early ones that was actually made in Sunnydale. So.
Really? Wow. I saw the picture that you sent me when you said you'd got it from Amazon, and the picture was one of the ones with the 4 switches instead of the 6 that we're used to. Is it really a 4-switch version?
No, it's a 6.
Oh, it's got the 6. Oh, that's still good, though. I've no idea where mine was made.
No, it's the Light 6er, I think, from what I've been reading.
Right, yeah. I know mine was, it says Atari, a division of Warner Communications, so I don't suppose that's one of the earliest ones. If it doesn't say that, it must be.
Yes, I think
but never mind. You've got an Atari. Well done. Welcome to the club. It's taken you a while.
Well, I've always wanted one. I wasn't really particularly bothered about playing the games. I just wanted one because I always like the look of them.
Yeah. Oh, they're great machines. Great games.
Yeah, I've got 2 games. Got Centipede.
Yeah, that's good.
And I also got Breakout.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but you need the paddles still, don't you?
Haven't got.
I'm still searching for, one set of paddles, let alone 2. But yeah, that's great. If you do get some paddles, a game to look out for is called Warlords, which I owned from a boot sale for years and never understood it, and then had this piece of inspiration to actually look on the internet to see if I could find the instructions. And once you actually know how to play it, it's brilliant. As a 2-player game, it doesn't really make sense playing against the computer, but if you're lucky enough to have someone to play against, which I don't very often.
I did think about looking at one of the later ones, the ones that are still made in the 90s.
Yes.
So perhaps look at getting one of those with the joystick and the paddles and the power pack, so it's a bit more complete.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. I'm trying to think of any other good games. All the Activision ones are good. I used to really love Spider Fighter, which is kind of similar to Space Invaders in some ways.
I can remember my friends very early on, they had Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, that was hard. Very hard. You need 2 joysticks for that game.
Can't remember now. Was it something to do with the key?
Yes, you had to. But you had to blow a hole in the wall, and then go in and get a key to then go somewhere else, which then enabled you to do something. But yes, you need a second joystick to select which item you need to use at any time, like the parachute. I'm giving you clues now in case you ever get it. Yeah, great game. But all the big name games are good, like Berserk and Centipede that you've got. And Millipede is like Centipede on drugs.
Yars Revenge, one of the best games, isn't it?
Which one was that?
Yars Revenge.
Oh, Yars Revenge is just beautiful. And Missile Command is, well, just one of the greatest games. Whether you play it in the arcade or on Atari, it's just superb. Yes, you're going to have some fun. And I'm going to see if I've got any games that I've got more than one copy of. I know I've got Vanguard, which is quite good. I've got 2 copies of that, so I'll definitely let you have that.
Thank you. So have you been up to anything this week, or since the last episode?
Well, not really. Unfortunately, my main computer, work computer, if you want to call it that, has near enough died on me. I think the hard drive is giving up, so it's switched off until I get another hard drive to at least duplicate it or back it up or something. I've got backups of it, but yes, so I've been mostly switched off, and apart from sitting in front of the radio computer, not too much.
Nice.
It's like a week off almost. I quite like it.
Well, I have been trying another operating system again.
Yes, tell us more.
Well, I dug out the laptop that I used, all different distros when I'm messing around, and I didn't realise I'd actually installed Linux Lite on this particular one. So I thought I'd give it a try. It's very similar to Linux Mint. Obviously, it's very easy to use. I think I'd probably recommend it to anybody who wanted to change from Windows to Linux, because it's very, very similar.
All right, yeah.
Like I said, mentioned in the last episode, I did try Open Indiana.
Oh, yes.
Didn't get very far. Booted up would last about 5 minutes because I didn't know what the login details were.
Oh, that old thing, yes. I remember once I tried it and I just couldn't even get the graphical interface up, and I can't remember what I had to do. But yes, I did not get too far with that, I have to say.
It looks very pretty, but if you can't log in, there's not a lot of use, really. I am thinking about trying to resurrect Fishcake Linux, but I can't find any images of it.
I'm sure I've got an image of it somewhere.
Yeah, I just fancy it. I don't know why.
Me neither, but it worked.
No, well, perhaps we could have sausage sandwich Linux in honour of Danny Baker.
Yeah.
Or we could have 2 versions: red sauce or brown sauce or no sauce at all.
Yes, it's System D or no System D.
You remember us some time ago? We were discussing the Doogie phones and the installing their own apps.
Yes.
It was about a month, 6 weeks ago. My mum's phone was getting a lot of random adverts appearing when she was using it. So I installed AVG on it, just the free version, and it found all kinds of media players and launchers and other bits and pieces like that.
That's it, yeah.
And even if you uninstall them, from time to time they actually do reinstall themselves again.
Yep. Perhaps I wonder if I was right all that time ago that they wait a certain period of time before they start themselves up and start doing it.
Luckily, there's nothing on my mum's phone that's sort of.
Yes. My mother has a tablet made by Lenovo,
right,
in China, and strangely enough, that does bring up a few warnings in the security software that I put on there of stuff that's pre-installed.
Well, it's naughty, really, isn't it?
Yes. I didn't tell you, did I, that I actually did get a new phone in the end.
All right, what did you get?
I've got the newest version of the Motorola Moto G2.
Right.
Version 5, is that correct? It's something like that, anyway.
The one I've got at the moment is Moto E.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But it's one with the Plus is one with the fingerprint reader and the. Oh, we know that we can do the Android Pay on it.
Yeah, well, I've got the fingerprint thing as well on this one. Yes, I'm very pleased with it, apart from the fact that it is really slippery. Can you believe the case? And you keep dropping it, especially if it's like, if your hands are like dry, it just falls out of your hands. And I've managed to crack the blasted screen already because it just fell out of my hands. I should have got one of those sort of case things for it, but I never did. So I'm a little bit annoyed at that, but I'm going to get it repaired sometime when I can find somewhere to do it.
I'm pleased with the because they've got an absolutely huge battery in it, so it can last nearly 2 days on one charge.
2 days, that's quite good. I think mine will do a day, but I do have all sorts of nonsense loaded into it.
But you know, for the price, I think I paid it's under 170 quid.
That's very good. Yeah.
You been watching anything on YouTube or?
Well, I've got a couple of recommendations, and I'm sorry to say they're going to be radio ones this time, and I did say I'm not going to be too evangelistic about it, but do you want me to go ahead and do them now?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, well, the first one, and like I said, I'm not going to be a ham radio evangelist too much, but at the same time, if you're technically minded, Wayne, getting a license is one of the greatest things you can do. And a guy that I've been watching for quite a while, and he's sort of upped his game a little bit on YouTube recently, is called Callum. I think his call sign is M0MCX, I think. But his channel is called DX Commander. He makes these really flashy telescopic poles that you can use for all kinds of antenna projects and stuff. But he's recently started doing a series of videos to help with the studying towards the foundation license. So if anybody is interested in going for it, I'd check those out. He's a good guy. I like him.
Does he present it in a easy to follow?
I think it is, yeah. And I used to think he was a bit, I don't know, I often wonder why people do all these things and, you know, put themselves out on YouTube and make podcasts even. Like, what am I doing sitting here? It's only because you asked me to do it. But he doesn't sort of come across like, I know everything, blah, 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 like some people do, which maybe I thought he did at the start, but no, he doesn't. And he sort of says, I'm learning as well and everything, so good for him. But I've grown to quite like him, and I watch nearly every video he puts out. And the other guy, in a similar sort of vein, a guy in America called Jim, whose call sign is W6LG. And although he's always sort of saying, you know, I'm learning to do this and please give me any tips or whatever, he makes videos in the way they should be, because he just tells you what it is and he gives you all his knowledge. And quite often at the end he says, if you disagree with this or if I've said anything wrong, please let me know. But to my knowledge, he's never said anything that's wrong. He just knows everything and he explains it really well. And he does a few fun things like using light bulbs as antennas so they light up as you transmit through them and things like that. He's a good guy. So he's W6LG, quite an old guy, and he went off. He didn't do many videos for quite a while, and you sort of always worry. This is something I've noticed in ham radio. Everybody is older even than me, and you always worry, oh my God, are they dead? But he had a heart problem, and he did a video explaining all of that. So, and you can sort of see in his older videos, he's like really kind of out of breath almost sometimes, but I think he's on the mend now. And he's one of my sort of targets that one day, when I have a license with enough power, that I can actually get through and speak to the guy, because he's in California and there's no way I can reach California, at least at the moment. So there you go, that's Jim, W6LG. W6LG.
No, I think it does make a difference when you watch a YouTube channel for a long time and they do interact with the people that watch.
Yeah.
More the community. You just feel more part of it, don't you, really?
Yeah. Oh, and one other one very quickly called Signal Search, who is another guy who, I think he's a much newer operator than the other two guys, but again, some good information, and I've learned quite a lot from him as well. Okay, that's enough radio stuff. My
recommendation this week is a YouTube channel called Budget Builds. They're really good. It literally buys stuff that's like 5-10 years old, desktops, laptops, PCs, graphics cards for, you know, literally pounds on eBay, and then
that would be quite modern for me.
But it's really good because it goes into detail about performance and what you can expect to get from the machine. It's even done, I think, like a 35 pence graphics card or something stupid like that. but it's you know, it's done very well. So, you know, if you haven't got much money to spare, then it gives you some idea of what you can expect performance-wise from buying something for next to nothing on eBay.
I'm going to check that out for sure. As a long-term user of Dell Optiplex computers, which are probably getting on for 15 years old now, but because I know they work, I've now got 3 of them.
Well, I've got a Dell keyboard anyway.
Yeah, they're quite good, actually.
And have you got anybody you recommend just following on Twitter this week?
You give me some first while I think about that.
Right, well, the only one I've just one recommend this week is there's a chap from Holland, or the Netherlands, called the Jan Bieter. He mainly looks at stuff on the Commodore 64, other bits as well, and he does go into quite some depth about electronics, but not in a boring way.
Okay, you've reminded me of one there at Atari Museum. This is
Right.
a guy in Holland, I believe, again, with his own personal collection of Atari stuff, and he's got stuff maybe even Nolan Bushnell hasn't heard of. Incredible. Okay, this is a little bit different, but especially as it's some sort of commercial or whatever thing, but I have a special love of the country of Slovenia. It's the most beautiful place in the world, and at travel_Slovenia, I think it could well be their like official tourist agency thing or whatever, but some absolutely beautiful photos of the most beautiful country in the world, Slovenia. And you might remember, many seasons and episodes back, we talked about the great Brian Pilton from a city near both of us, of Exeter, here in England, who is said to be a 76-year-old gentleman who likes football and beer, and his account is so good many people think it's a parody, and I'm 75% sure that it's not, but you never know, because some of the stuff is really quite funny, and you can read innuendo into anything if you want to, but I'm never quite sure. But he disappeared for over a year, and then he reappeared again recently, saying that he'd been too busy or he'd forgotten about Twitter or something like that. So it's great that he's back.
My favourite bit of his of late was about his wife was ill in bed with a bad stomach or cold.
Yeah.
So he'd gone to Tesco's to get some donuts or something like that, and then he'd done the washing up and then took the donuts up to her or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. I think it's Brian_Pilton, I think. Account suspended?
Really?
No. You see, there are parody accounts of this alleged parody account. Ah, there you are. So it's Brian Pilton without the underscore. So the underscore one must have been the parody, which has now been suspended.
There we go. This was one from the 5th of February. My wife was making the pie and I'm making the roast potatoes to go with it. And we're having a great time dancing along to the radio. Brian, Exeter.
Yeah, see, he always signs his tweets Brian, Exeter. You see, but the things that, as I said, you can make some innuendo out of anything if you try hard enough. And from the day before that one, he said he's visiting friends in Croyd today, and a walk along Baggy Point, and then lunch at the Thatch. Actually, the Thatch is a pub in Croyd. And I on that day, I really wanted to go to Croyd, which is a beautiful little village in the north of Devon, just to see if we could find him, but no. Lunch at the Thatch.
I'm sure he's a very nice man.
Yeah, I just remember one other thing, and again, a thing from many years ago. I once mentioned a alternative social media networky thing called Plag, which I quite liked at the time, because if you post something and then it gets sent to the people nearest you, and if they like it, it then moves forward and it spreads across the world like a plague. Now, I don't think it actually went away, but I kind of got bored with it or whatever, and just remembered it again recently. And it's actually now called Solar, and it's the same thing, but they have their own cryptocurrency, the big thing of the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And now you can earn little bits of cryptocurrency if your posting, your picture or whatever is popular. I have 6.81 souls, as they're called, which is probably worth, 10 pence or something like that, but you never know, do you?
No, right, I think time to say goodbye. Thank you.
Okay, next time we will do Android applications.
Yes, so
So if anybody has some good recommendations of some perhaps lesser known but extremely good applications, let us know.
yeah, there's just one or two ones I've installed of late that I've found quite useful, so that will be worthwhile.
Yeah, me too.
Right, well, thank you very much for listening.
Okay, guys, as always, get in touch on Twitter at UERpod. And yeah, we'll see you next time, I suppose. Hopefully we'll sort out our hosting and stuff better by next time as well, won't we?
Yes. Right. Yeah, thanks for listening. Cheers.
See ya.